Everybody, pop, pop, boom. Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome to PCP Movie Night. Welcome to ActionFest 2023. Welcome to the movie review of Donnie Yen in a fantastic 2008 Hong Kong martial arts film that we like to call Ip Man or Ip Man, whatever the hell you want to call it. Intellectual property, man. I don't care. This movie is fucking awesome, and we're going to be talking about it tonight. And I don't have a good quote from this movie, so all I can start with is, like, it's absolutely fantastic, this movie. But we got a great panel to talk about this movie for ActionFest 2023 here on PCP Movie Night. It's the Ip Man himself. It's Brooks. What's up, my man?
What's up? Let me fight 10 men.
Hell yeah. We also got a #1 fighter. He doesn't like to talk about this much, but in the underground fighting rinks in the Bronx, New York, he is the top dog. It's Fable. What is up, my man?
It's funny. I used to call him IP Man myself. Like.
Nice.
He's serious about his intellectual properties.
Speaking of being serious about intellectual properties, nobody is more serious about intellectual properties, and nobody has more losses in the underground fighting ring in Huntsville, Alabama than Delaney. What is up, my man?
Hey man, I like I'm asses and elbows. So yeah, anytime a fight happens, I'm up and out.
I can attest to that. I've seen that multiple times in my life where some shit goes down at the club and we're like, "Where's Delaney?" And I just see his ass running the fuck away. I'm just gonna say,
because you ain't supposed to be in that shit. Not at all. Not friends.
One time, the woman Delaney was. One time, some shit was going on with me. Some drama was going on. We're walking out of the club. Some drama's going on. Some guys trying to start shit with me. Delaney fucking just briskly walks away, and Delaney's the girlfriend at the time actually was the one who stood up for me that night. So I'm just gonna say, you remember that night, Delaney?
How many of us have them? Friends, ones we can depend on.
All right, tonight we're talking about Ip Man, whatever you want to call it. This is a fantastic fucking film, a Hong Kong kung fu film. Now, I never had the biggest knowledge of kung fu cinema, right? Of Hong Kong cinema. Never had the biggest knowledge of this stuff. But I got to get sent on a journey by our man, Bullseye Bob from Everything Comics, right? Friend of Bueller, Travis, a.k.a. Bob sent me through a wonderful journey of kung fu movies that unfortunately I had to stop for a while. But this was one of the movies. And this movie stuck with me, right? There's so many movies I watched during that era that just really stick with me. In 8 Diagram Pole Fighter, this one, 36 Chamber of Shaolin, which may be my favorite kung fu movie of all time. That movie's fucking awesome. Bro. Gordon Liu. Nice. Gordon Liu's my dude.
Gordon Liu's awesome.
He's my fucking dude. And but this one stuck with me, like Once Upon a Time in China with Jet Li and Hero with Jet Li, right? This movie, I think, it is an action movie. If you watched it for the first time this week, you may be like, this doesn't seem like it's comparable to something like Mission or Missing in Action, right? And it's not, because Missing in Action is a shit film. This is a really good film, right? But it has so much kung fu action, right? And what's the martial art in particular? Is it Wing Chun or something like that?
Wing Chun.
Okay.
Everybody Wing Chun tonight.
I just remember that was one of the karaoke songs that Angel liked to do. But anyway, we're going to be talking about this movie tonight. So let's get into it. 2008, this movie, Ip Man, starring Donnie Yen, directed by Wilson Yip, based on an actual historical figure, one of the Sifus, the masters and teachers of Bruce Lee, actually. So it's got a historical context for us, but it's got a very historical context for China, because this is during the Chinese occupation of China, right? And this is some historical stuff that in American textbooks, they kind of gloss over when it comes to like World War II and all that kind of shit. Yeah. So a lot of these movies help me like understand a lot more about that. I fucking love this movie. That's why I picked it. I was like, I got to do a kung fu movie this year for ActionFest. And I chose this one because I think Donnie Yen is fucking fantastic. The fighting in this movie, never once does Donnie Yen ever come up against an actual threat. Never. There's never a moment in this movie where I'm like, I don't think he's going to be able to handle himself.
For the sequel.
Well, yeah, all right. Or when Mike Tyson shows up in part 3 or whatever, right? But like, I've never seen any of the sequels, but I do want to see them. The second one's the one with the boxer, the racist.
Yeah, the British boxer guy.
Yeah, British boxer.
And they basically do the plot of Rocky 4 with less montages. So I've heard about it, but this movie to me is gold. This movie is brilliant. And if you've never seen a kung fu movie as, say, an American or a Westerner watching these films, I think this is a really great entry point into it, because it's giving you historical facts about historical figure. It's giving you mythological ideas about a historical figure. And it's spotlighting Donnie Yen, and it's spotlighting some amazing fucking kung fu action. I love the wire work in this movie. I love the fighting. I have never seen a movie where dude gets hit like 80 times in a fucking row, like a goddamn Capcom combo happening.
Like
I fucking love this movie. I love it because it's got that kung fu martial arts action, but it's also got a really, really heartfelt story. It's got a scintillating pace to it. And I just think this movie is absolutely amazing. So it was a pleasure for me to add it to the program for ActionFest 2023. It was a pleasure to rewatch it twice this week, right? Because I got to pull a Verno sometimes now, right? I love this film. I think it's brilliant. I don't think there's a performance that lags in any kind of way. I love every single person in this movie, even the people I fucking hate. Like, not the Japanese general who's the main bad guy, but his number 2,
the Toady guy,
who kills General Liu. He kills Master Liu or whatever, right? Like, fuck that guy. You know what I'm saying? But like, everybody nails the performance in this movie. It's shot in a beautiful way. It is cinematically majestic. I think this movie is remarkable, and this is definitely something I wanted to highlight. So thank you all for being here. I see you out there in the chat. We got GTK Comic. We got Two Gun Pedro. We got that one Eric. That's nice, man. Intellectual Property Man, because Donnie Yen owns your ass. We got Brother Joe. We got Introspect M. You know, I just noticed that sometimes on PCP Movie Night, we get so wrapped up in our talk that we don't always pay attention to the chat. Lulu's in the house with Take Their Friggin' Teeth. I showed her the last action scene in 8 Diagram Pole Fighter with Gordon Liu, where they're like, the monks are like ripping people's fucking teeth out and shit. Bro, it's so fucking good. It's so good, man.
Oh, wow.
It does have some fantastic fighting
that
scenes.
Scares me.
Red Twister was the boxer. Damn, Lulu's the goddamn expert here tonight. Or it's Eli. You just like feeding her information. Anyway, we appreciate everybody for being here. Let's get into it. Brooks, first of all, this is nobody's first time watching this movie, right?
No.
Cool. Brooks, what do you think about this movie overall? What do you think about it on the rewatch?
Well, I remember I was introduced to this movie by some friends of mine. They talked it up, and so like we watched it together. I remember, and I really enjoyed it. And like the first time I watched it, I'd never seen the movie Schindler's List. So when this time around, like having seen Schindler's List, I'm like, man, this movie kind of goes a little Schindler's List towards the second act. When the Japanese show up, it gets a little dark. Mm-hmm. But it's it's still like I love like how everybody is so polite, even like despite everything. Like there's this kind of like underlying courtesy that like everybody displays in this movie. Like the bandit guy, he when he comes into town, he's very polite. He's like when he's trying to challenge these guys, and like even like not so much the Japanese guy that is just a dickhead, but the main General Mura, I guess he does that kind of portray him as he does have some kind of sense of honor, but he is still like a Japanese bastard. So but like the action scenes are like really good in this movie. Like I love how Wing Chun is shown as like it's like he's constantly moving around his opponent's attacks. Like he doesn't move into it, he doesn't get aggressive until like, the time is right, and like, and I like how in the character of Ip Man, like even in his life, he's like that too, like he's always trying to defuse situations. Like one of my favorite scenes is the cop points the gun and he just like grabs it and pops the cylinder out with his fingers. And then afterwards he's like, hey, have a seat, he's always trying to, keep the peace.
But the movie starts off with Act 1 very easy. Like it's really cool to get into it because it kind of has this light comedic approach at first, right? Yeah. Where like a General Liu, right? Or not General Liu, but Master Liu, right? He's like he wants to come and like everybody who's what's the name of the city? Because it was known for like all these kung fu schools and shit. Fengshu or something.
Foshan, yeah, Foshan.
Yeah, there you go. And so like he shows up, he's like, hey, I'm going to open up a school. And Ip Man's like, yeah, congratulations. That's awesome. And he's like, well, we got to fight. He's like, you don't have to fight me. All right, you want to do it? But they have dinner beforehand. They're having like a cigarette and like snacks afterwards. And they're like, you ready? And it's so respectful, right? Mm-hmm. And then it just goes on from there. I absolutely love the first act of this film, Brooks.
It's like his wife is like, don't break my stuff, please.
Yeah, when dude shows up, the dude that shows up to me is like a Chinese Carl Urban. Because I was like, this dude looks like Carl Urban. So you like it overall, Brooks?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm glad. This is a good movie to do after Missing in Action.
Palate cleanser.
This movie has plenty of action, whereas Missing in Action was missing some action, right, Brooks?
Yeah.
All right, Fable, you chose to be here, man. Obviously, you love this film. Tell us about your overall thoughts. Good to see you, Eli, by the way.
Say that again?
I was just shouting out to Eli in the chat.
Yeah, I love this movie, man. First time I watched it, I fell in love with it. I grew up watching kung fu movies, so like you said, the first half of this movie is give me total kung fu movie vibes, like because the small town and so many masters in their schools and everybody knows everybody. It has that small town tone to it too, which I love. And it was lighthearted and comedic, and yeah, it does get very serious afterwards. But you because you fell in love with all the characters in the beginning, you kind of want to see them win when it does get dark. So you stick with it. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, this movie is you said it the first time. It's a great movie for anybody trying to get into kung fu. I would definitely recommend Ip Man as a first time watch. It's not absolutely accurate to Ip Man if you know anything about the real Ip Man, but it's still a fun movie. Even when it gets dark, it can be fun.
And it does. It takes it not only does it get super dark, it goes from a very lighthearted movie to all of a sudden it's like, oh, and by the way, the Japanese occupied China. Ip Man was like kicked away from like his house, and he's in poverty
his
now.
House.
Yeah, like, and you're like, what? But it's there, and that shit, like, there's some touching moments in this movie, man. Like a moment that breaks my heart is when he's feeding his wife. when she's sick, right? And I know that she's going to develop cancer in part 3 and all that kind of shit. I watched some YouTube videos today that I shouldn't have because it spoiled the rest of the franchise for me. But I'm excited. I love this film, and I do love that it does, like you were saying, Fable. It through the comedic kind of lightheartedness of the first act, it gets you everybody. It gets you into all of the characters, right? Like the interpreter, his buddy who's running the factory, the dude who's like trying to help him out, who gives him half of his potato, right? Like they introduce all these characters in a lighthearted moment. So when we see them at their worst of times, we really are on their side and we feel them and we want to see them win. And one of the most nuanced things to me about this movie is that Ip Man wins all of his fights, but he doesn't win the war, right? And that's something that really hits home at that moment where he tells his wife, like, I realized today I'm powerless. I can't do anything.
That's after he like beats the shit out of 10 dudes.
Yes, exactly. And it's such a good scene because you're like, you've seen tons of these movies where like even Bruce Lee films where like a bunch of dudes are coming around him, but they're all coming at one at a time. And this one, you see him fight 10 dudes basically. I love the last dude who's just like, fuck. I guess I got to try to go at it. Speaking of the last dude who's trying to go at it, Delaney here to round out the panel. Last but certainly not least, why don't you tell us what you think about this film?
Yeah, man, I love Wing Chun. Like that style of art form of fighting. I want to learn that. That looks like a clean fighting style that just. And I want Ip Man to train me because he seems so calm and with it. Yeah. And he does win every fight, but he wins every fight with the fact that he's not there to fight, except for the 10 guys he totally destroys. It's such a great film. It's a well-paced film. Yeah, it is jarring to see the like. It's called, I think, the Sino-Japanese War or Sino-Japanese War when they occupied. The thing is, when Japan came in, they were such a force. And China was so spread out. It's more of a farming country. They didn't organize and they weren't ready for the occupation. And Japan was just like, we're not taking over, you stupid dogs. We're the best thing ever. And, and it shows that, as much as I like Japanese culture in a lot of different ways, they really had a dark side, why Oppenheimer kind of happened. But it's such a great film. It's great historical backing. The fact that this guy trained Bruce Lee, Jim Lee, and made. Wait,
Jim Lee's in this fucking film? Hold on a second.
Jim Lee's in here. He draws it.
Where's Rob Liefeld? Shit. Fuck. Let's all the image guys in this
film. His kid was like Jim Lee. You didn't know that, but yeah.
I love it when Todd McFarlane shows up and he's all like, "Hey, bud, let me tell you something."
That man needs some chains. You need some chains on it.
That's right. Got to do that. But
have we ever seen a movie where a dude gets punched in the face like 30 times in like 20 seconds?
That was awesome. I'd never seen an ass whooping that clean. It's just that's a finishing move. You basically hitting somebody out like 58 times in the face. I'm out. You win. Whatever you did, whatever I did, I'm sorry, dog.
Bro, I'm so sorry, man.
So sorry.
I'll give you $200 right now. Just stop hitting me.
Whatever you stop to do, you stop that, and we'll go here. Have a potato and some rice. Go on now. But it's such great fight scenes, man. The choreography in this is great. The music is decent. It like I said, it's paced well. It's got like a full package of a great movie. And I saw this I think I saw this when like a year or so after it came out or something like that. And I was just impressed. I didn't watch the rest of them. I'd never seen the 2 and 3 and Mike Tyson. And I didn't get that far, but I saw this one and I was just like, wow.
Bro, when I found out that Mike Tyson's in part 3, I was like, I gotta watch that because that's gotta be stupid.
Yeah. It was great though. It was great.
I was like, this motherfucker is like Little Mac in real life. You're right. This is like Punch Out in real life, man.
It was just so real. But yeah, it's a great film, man. I really enjoy it. I'm glad I got to watch it again this time and like take it in because I think I saw it subbed the first time, and then this was the dub version. I got to watch it on like Plex or something with commercials, which boo. But when I saw it and it was dubbed, and Donnie Yen, by the way, has like the most happy, upbeat voice in this movie. And like, I've heard him speak, and I'm like, this isn't Donnie Yen at all. Like, they just found some guy, this really happy guy.
I was about to ask, like, does Donnie do his own like dub for the English version?
I don't think, I didn't see it.
I've never seen the dub. I've never seen the dub, so
the dub is lacking. Like, it's fine. I mean, because like they don't have the inflection, they're not using the inflection well. You can't really get their nuances. I know what they're saying, especially the Japanese general. Like, I know he wasn't that. I knew he was more of a dickhead in Japanese than they had. And this is the part. I think they dubbed the Japanese. Like, not dubbed the Japanese to English. I'm just saying it was Japanese. Like, he was speaking Japanese, but I don't think it was that guy. Because I know that guy sounds better. He just looks like he sounds better.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh crap.
It's dubbed like an anime. If you used to whatever anime kind of dubs, then that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
You know, when I first started getting into Hong Kong cinema, I guess last year when Bob was sending me a bunch of movies to watch, I was very fortunate because I am very much a fan of Italian horror films. And I was like, all right, I get it. Like, I get it. I get the dubbing. Like, it's bad. It's a part of the whole fucking shtick, right? But I haven't watched this one dubbed. But I'll tell you what, and you alluded to this, all of you, actually. There's not a bad performance in this film. Not at all. So let's talk about the cast of this film. What's the cast member you want to highlight? Brooks, you get to go first, which means you get the best pick, because you can go about Donnie Yen if you want to, but I know you're not, because you're Brooks. And you're going to have a deep cut. So who's your favorite character and performance in this film?
Well, probably not as deep as my usual, but I liked the bandit guy, Jin, I think his name was. Now you know how it feels to be powerless. But yeah, like he was my favorite guy, because like I love how, you know, like he walks into town with his gang, and he just walks up to the guys, and he's just like, hey, you mind challenging me? And then he just like obliterates all these dudes. And then, like, you know, he's eating at the restaurant, and the guy, you know, the server guy is like, you be a bunch of scrubs. If you really want to get respected, you have to fight Ip Man. And he just like barges into his house, and yet still, you know, he's polite about it. He's like, he barges in, but then he's like, you know, he does the whole thing. And like, I really like how, you know, when they have to stop their fight because his son is driving his tricycle through, and he's like, little brat. And that man's like, watch your mouth. And like, I like how later on, you know, he shows up. He's part of this, you know, gang that's basically like robbing this textile plant and like fucking over he's even kind of doing that polite, like, you know, like he doesn't actually kill anybody. He's just like, oh, beat him up until they, you know, do what we say.
Yeah, and he's also like, you know, you know what? I'll give you some time to gather up the money.
And I love Hitman, because it's like, why do you hate me so much? You're always trying to chase me away. Hitman's like, I don't care about you, dude.
I love how Hitman just whips his ass with a fucking like feather or like a fucking plant.
Like, dude, pulls a sword on him. Hitman's like, I'll just grab this stick and beat him with
this gigantic feather duster. Yeah.
Fucking kicks his ass. That's a good role, man. That's the guy that's like Carl Urban, right? That's like, he looks just like him. I swear to God. Like, I'm like, is Carl Urban in this fucking movie?
I'll pay.
Good stuff. Fable. Brooks stole your number one pick, but surely there's somebody else you can mention, right?
I gotta go with Donnie Yen, man. It man himself, the IP, the intellectual property man. He's amazing in this film. Like his calmness, his poise. There's scenes where he's fighting with guys and he's smiling while he's fighting with them. He has this visible like grin, and I mean, you know how hard it is to like keep an emotive face when you're dodging punches and shit. You know what I'm saying? And he's there smiling about it. So, you know, I just thought he's great as an actor because, you know, he plays all the scenes where it's sad and the, you know, the darkness comes, but he's also a great athlete, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, stunt guy, choreographer, fight guy. I don't know what you call those guys, but he's great with physicality. And his acting through the physicality is great too, because all the pauses and, like, yeah, I'm whooping your ass right now. Keep going and stuff. So, it's his acting is broad. So I'm gonna say Donnie Yen, man. Hell yeah.
Dude, what I love about him in this film is the playfulness, which you alluded to, right? Like when he's in certain matches, like when he's fighting Master Lu in the very beginning, and this is one of my favorite moments in the movie where he's like, hit. Are you okay? Do we do it anyway? And then when he's fighting the 10 dudes, he's fucking pissed.
Oh my god!
Hell yeah!
And he's like snapping limbs.
He breaks one of the legs.
That's what I'm saying. You see the difference, not just in his style of fighting, but in his face and the emotiveness of the fight. And that performance is as much of a performance,
right?
It's got as much nuance in it as something that's just him on the screen
just acting,
emoting. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It man reminds me of Goku a lot because he just loves to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just loves to test his limits,
Yeah.
Just don't break anything. Don't break any of my things.
Don't break my wife's shit, please.
If only we had that one moment when he was about to fight the Japanese general and he took off all the weights.
Yeah.
Let's fucking do it. What about you, Delaney? What's a performance you want to highlight?
I was gonna go with Bandit too because he was pretty memorable.
He's great, yeah.
I really liked his character. I guess I'll go with the guy that dies, that gets beat to death. I like him. He's a lighthearted
dude who gives him the
guy.
potato. The potato giver.
The potato, okay. And he's like his friend or his brother is the one that like saw the fight and tells everybody about the master's fight with.
They own the restaurant.
Yeah, they own the restaurant together. He was just funny as crap because he pulls his brother's pants down and makes a fool of everybody.
This is embarrassment.
Yeah, embarrassment. And it was so funny just out of thing, and it just sucks that he like died and how he dies. It's just he didn't need to go like that, and it was. Damn.
He chose it though. He chose it because that dude tells him. He looks at him. He's like, "Do you really want to die right now?"
And he's like, "Yeah." Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Yeah, I do, motherfucker."
You disrespect my family. You disrespect me. He was coming at him, and he was playing to win. And it's just it sucks the way he went. But the movie has a lot of that in it. It's just something about the heart, and I think the heart was him.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I really thought he was a very, very likable character and a very just upright dude. It's just, you can't go through life and like, I don't know, say no, or just be a contrarian. We can just stop and fight. We're gonna stop. We're gonna do this. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna keep going. Sometimes you got to go forward. And he was just that dude. I just thought he was that dude. And it just kind of sucks.
It was such a great death scene too, actually, because he gets hit. That's one of the best, like, you see all this stuff with the wire foo and all this kind of stuff where you can tell that they're being jerked around by wires. But when he gets hit and he flies like 10 feet away, it feels so real. And then the sound design on this film, and we'll get to this on the technicals bit on the next bit, but like you hear the heartbeat. Mm-hmm. You hear his heartbeat and it's like, it's fucking up, because he just got fucking hit really fucking hard in the chest, right? And I mean, that's a real thing that can happen, right? If you get hit in the chest. I mean, it just happened recently with somebody, actually. I don't even remember who that was, but somebody got hit. And it was there was a baseball player who got hit in the heart and he almost died. Or it was a football player. It was the football player, the NFL player. Who got
yeah. He was on the field. That was like a while back.
Yeah, that was the Bills. That was that was like months ago during the NFL season. But yeah, it was for the Bills. I can't remember his name right now, but
I know exactly
that's some scary shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I want to highlight the dude who plays. I'm pretty sure it's Master Lu, right? The very beginning, the guy who shows up and he's like, "Let's fight." I love it. Y'all were talking about politeness that Donnie Yen's portraying. Yeah. That shit where he's like sitting. I love that shit. It's so great where he's just like, I'm here to fight you. He's like, well, we're having dinner. You'll have to wait.
Yeah.
It just cuts to him waiting. And then he's like, hey, man, you want to eat with us? Sure. And he eats. He grabs a piece of food. Ip Man's wife looks at him and is like, that's not for you. That shrimp is expensive. That's not for you, right? Or some shit like that, right? And then they're sitting there. He's eating some like fucking cake. No, I don't want a cigarette. No, thank you. You ready? Let's go. It's so polite. And then when he's so comedic, but then the turn.
Yeah.
Where we see this dude fighting for rice, right? During the occupation. And then his death scene. That's the one that fucking gets me.
Yeah.
Because that's the dude that didn't have to fucking die.
Yeah.
He did what he was supposed to do.
He did what he's supposed to, yeah.
Exactly. And that's why that one fucking dude we want to see got so goddamn bad throughout the rest of the fucking film. But I think he did such an amazing job of being an antagonistic character in the very beginning, but having us on his side, which sets up what happens to him. And he performed that incredibly well. Also, major shout out to whoever it was, the actor who played Ip Man's wife. Because she did a really good job.
I was almost gonna choose her.
I was gonna pick her, but I was like, yeah.
I was almost gonna pick her.
She does so much with so little, and then when she has that breakdown with the dude who's running the factory, that's amazing. Like, just let me have this one chance to stand by his side because I've never been there.
Yeah,
you know, like to appreciate this side. So that was awesome. Style and structure of this movie. It's an hour 45. It actually could be longer. And I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind existing in this world more. And when a movie ends and you're like, I want more, that's really good. That means that movie is paced very well. It never lags too long. When it does make those very crazy jumps into tragedy, it doesn't feel out of place. The cinematography in this movie. Look at how colorful this movie is in its first act. And then when you get to Act 2 during the occupation, all the color is sucked away.
Yeah.
Right? But the blood stands out. You were mentioning Schindler's List, Brooks. Yeah. This is like the little girl in the red, right?
Yeah,
but when
like the movie just gets like so grim that like the color gradient goes grim too.
Out,
yeah. So when that blood hits that rice bag, it really stands the fuck out, man. It is absolutely masterful. It looks beautiful in fucking HD. It is an absolutely gorgeous film, impeccably written and paced. I think it's tight as fuck and badass. What about you, Brooks? What do you think about the style and structure of this film? Oh, and by the way, the fighting is the shit.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think this movie is well paced. You know, it has a lot of moving pieces. You know, there's a lot going on. Like, you know, it starts out like, you know, Ip Man. He's just like you don't really know how he's come by, like, you know, this lifestyle of kind of like wealth and leisure that he has, you know, but he's just a guy who just, you know, seems to, for the most part, just hang out at home with his wife and kid. He doesn't have to work. Like, he doesn't even really, he's not training anybody. He's just, you know, he's just living his life. And, you know, every once in a while, somebody will come and want to fight him, and, you know, and he'll fight him. And then, like, you know, he loses his house, and then he has to go to work. And then, you know, later on, like, his friend comes to him and is like, hey, man, we need some help with these bandits. I need you to teach these workers how to fight. And it's like, there's so many things, like, you know, he has so many, like, I guess, like, what is it when, like, you do a whole bunch of different things? He wears a lot of masks, I guess. In this
he's
movie.
A Renaissance man.
Yeah, he's just chill dude. He's hardworking man. He's a guy who learns to be a better father to his son. He learns to be a good teacher, and, you know, he learns the importance of, you know, of his fellow man, you know, and to stand up for what he believes in, you know, and to oppose the people who are, you know, destroying his life and, you know, the people that he loves life. And it doesn't feel, you know, despite it is, like, you know, pretty lengthy. It's almost 2 hours, but it doesn't feel very long. It feels like, you know, just right to me, I think. So yeah, pretty good movie.
Yeah, it's in that Goldilocks zone as far as pacing goes, right? 100%. What about you, Fable? What do you think about the style and structure of this film?
Just real quick, two things about it, man, that they don't really explain much in this movie. And I don't know if they even allude to it, but it kind of fits in. He is from a wealthy family, so that house he had maybe is something that's in the family, and he also was a police officer in his. So those cops lining up his house, like they didn't kind of make sense when he's telling them what to do, but he might actually be a cop at that time. Not really 100% sure, but yeah, style and structure. What I love to highlight about this is set design. I think some of the set design in this film is gorgeous, especially the town squares and the alleyways, the restaurant, his house, the broken down shack they live in later, the like freaking dojo that they fight in at the end. It's all gorgeous. It's really well dressed. I don't know who they have as a set design over there, but the style and structure, the style. I think the set design comes through really good. And yeah, you said it before, structure, I think it has a great pace to it. Just when it's about to slow down, there's some butt kicking going on right after. So yeah, great. Style and structure is awesome.
Hell yeah. Well said. What about you, Delaney? What do you think?
Yeah, this is a true martial arts film. It's filmed well. The choreography is fantastic. Like, all of these fight scenes are beautifully crafted. Donnie Yen is a master of his game. I mean, that Wing Chun, the way he flows, the way it starts the movie off, where he's basically trying to get his pole, and he's fighting the pole so well. I love that. It's just something about his demeanor.
The way that
scene
sets up the end of the film, when they cut back and he's doing those same movements to that dude, and he could kill that dude easily.
He's learning to do it. Yeah, he's doing it. And I'm surprised he didn't. Like, he whooped his ass. He was just on the ground with his mouth open. Just, yeah, he got you. He got you, dog. But yeah, it's talking about what you said, Fable, about the set design. It's amazing. I love the final scene. I love how it's like this big town square fight, and they have like the Japanese soldiers like barricading the area, and all the people are looking at it. And when it finally goes down, when Ip Man's like shot and falls, and everybody's like, "Oh hell no!" You know, it's just they jump through the sides. I love that. I don't know what it is, but it just looked like the walls were gonna crush down. I mean, they outnumber them. It was just, they think rifles are gonna be enough. You need a gun, son. You just need a pistol. Be like, hey, shoot that guy. Yeah. You'll stop now. You know, but I liked that set piece. That I love that whole that whole ass whooping scene was fantastic. Of course, the 10 men, that bleak room, the way it's shot, the way it was so dark and sad, and just
bloodstains,
this blood-stained area,
and the sound design on that, right? Oh my goodness,
all of it. I mean, that room, it was a perfect room for the sound, the acoustics of what they were trying to do anyway. And I know you put it behind, but that room pretty much brought out some things with it. And it always freaks me out, because the first time I saw this, I was like, he whooped all of their asses. And you just heard every bone break. You heard every little piece of the screams and the disaster that's happening. And you're like, yeah, that's cool. That's
real cool. Most of the fight scenes in this movie, y'all, are like this.
And
that's this. Oh my god, dude!
All the ass whoopings in this movie. Oh, it's so epic. Like, I would never. Well, I know we already mentioned this, but I would never ever want to get beat like that. Not once.
Yeah, because he's not just punching you. He's like smacking.
No,
like sometimes he's just dead, like
ruining you. Because he's if you notice the Wing Chun style, he's right here in the center. He's in your core.
Defending while attacking.
Defending while attacking.
Yeah, because like they mentioned in this movie that Wing Chun was actually invented by a woman. So it's a martial art that was basically created to take out bigger opponents by exploiting weaknesses and you turning an opponent's momentum against them.
Yeah, because nobody expects to be hit 69 times within like fucking 20 seconds.
You're dead.
If someone does, you start talking shit to someone at the bar, and all of a sudden they hit you like 80 times, you're like,
All right.
Hey man, Donnie Yen's a bad.
Hey, dude, you spilled my drink.
Yeah.
All right,
No,
dude, I
no,
got
no.
your next round's on me.
Next round's on me. Yep. That's it. You're
Fuck
good.
yeah. I want to talk about the music. We always talk about the music. The music in this movie is fucking amazing. It is lighthearted when it needs to be in the beginning. Then it gets really fucking dark, right? And it gets epically dark. It feels like it's not maybe so easy for us to understand this, but like in China, this is a movie about a fucking national hero, right?
Yeah.
This is like them making a fucking movie about I don't know, Teddy Roosevelt, fucking John Bunyan or some shit, right?
I was
Like,
gonna say Richie Valens.
yeah, okay, yeah.
National-
La Bamba.
We need to do La Bamba. That movie made me cry so much when I
Oh,
was
La Bamba, man. Oh,
God
La Bamba.
damn it. But that was the first little bit of Spanish I ever learned. But fuck. Oh, the music. All right, the music is great. It's epic, it's big, and and this is the kind of music that here in like in American cinema we would have attached to things like Ridley Scott's Gladiator or some shit like that, right? It is epic as fuck, dude. But what I really want to highlight is when we are doing that scene where he's fighting those 10 fucking dudes, the music is
Right.
just like synthesized strings. And it's just like, oh, no. And it almost feels like video game music from the mid 90s on a pause screen from Doom or some shit like that, right? But god damn it fits this movie. And the music goes from epic, nationalistic to lighthearted and fun to dark, serious, and tragic. The music in this movie fucking slaps. Brooks, did you notice it?
I did. And I like the music in this movie too. It's very cinematic. And like I really like the like kind of I guess the main dome 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 dome. It's like I mean it fits like it's seamless, it fits, it adapts to the scenes like like you would expect in a movie, and none of it feels bad or out of place. It's all good.
Absolutely. Speaking of all good, Fable's always all good, man. What do you think about the music in this film?
Yeah, I don't really have much to add to it. You're absolutely right. I did get a sense of nationalism out of it, a pride in the music, and I also did get a romantic quality to it. It's a romantic, especially with the wife and the kid and those scenes of bleakness when they're just showing people down and out and stuff like that. It's it's great. It's a great soundtrack. It does what it has to do, and if you don't notice it, I won't be mad at you because it's a great soundtrack.
Yeah, it does its job, which means that you don't notice it unless you're trying to notice it.
Right. And like you said, especially during the fight sequences, especially that last fight sequences, that was like an epic build while he's beating the shit out of this Japanese guy.
I love how for a moment that fight looked like it could go either way, and then Hitman's
nah, son. Let's take care of you.
All right, Delaney, what did you think about the music in the film?
I love this music, man. It's at the beginning. Oh man, I love the music at the beginning of this movie. It's so epic. It is. It's just like mind blowing, and it does go into the bleaker moments, like you said. All of you have said it, man. This music, like I don't know what it is, but it fits everything. You don't, and you notice it. It's there, but I like when the music stops when the master is shot. It's like it's not it's nothing. It's just it cuts, and it's like it's perfect. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is how you're supposed to run a score. Yeah. It's nationalistic. It's upbeat at the beginning. It's dour at the end, but it goes back to epic at the end. And oh man, bruh, yeah, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Like there was the scene where they were fighting in the textile mill, and I can't remember all the music for that. I love the music in that scene though. I know where I remember it really well. I was like, oh wow, and he's beating the people with the stick during that whole scene, like all that fight. I was like, this music is absolutely baller. So I mean, I have no complaints with this film. It's just as far as the music goes, it's awesome.
So we are the pop culture philosophers. So let's dive into some of the philosophy behind this film, right? Obviously, a historical figure who has his own philosophy about fighting and life behind him that influenced so many great fighters, including Bruce Lee, right? That is accurately, to a point, portrayed in this film. But this movie is more so than Missing in Action. Missing in Action was trying to say something very specific. This movie is saying a lot of things. This movie's got nuance to it. That's one of our favorite words here, right? It's got grit, texture, dynamic qualities. It's fucking awesome. What is this movie speaking to you, Brooks? What message did you glean? What's this movie about?
Well, I think one message is Ip Man is portrayed as somebody who, like, he loves to help people, but he's not very good at accepting help from people. Like, you know, he's like somebody, I think his friend mentions at some point in the movie, like, he doesn't like to feel like he's indebted to anyone. But, you know, part of, you know, giving is that you have to, you know, you have to learn to take as well as give, you know, because people, you know, when you do good things for people, they're going to want to repay you as well. So, like, you know, when it comes down to the time, like, you know, when he sees the dude get shot and, you know, which I thought it was odd that, you know, the dudes give him rice bags for the 10 guys he beats, but he, like, refuses all of them and picks up the blood-soaked bag to take back to dude's family. I mean, I guess it's kind of like symbolic.
That's making a point, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's still weird to bring his family this blood-soaked bag of rice, I thought.
Oh, shit. He should at least brought him a clean bag of rice, right? Hey, here you go. Your husband's dead, but here's his blood soaked into a bag of rice. I'm sorry.
Just boil it off, I guess.
Look at, we were talking about nuance. Look at that. No dialogue in that scene. You don't even see the scene. You see the aftermath of the scene. Right. That's impactful. That's brilliant filmmaking. When you see the bag on the table, you hear the cries, and you see Donnie Yen walk away. That's fucking brilliant, right?
Yes, and like he learns how to you know, to give back, like when his friend, you know, is finally like, oh, we need your help, you know, I need you to, you know, I'm not looking for a handout or anything, like, I need you to take this job to train these guys so we can fight these guys. And, you know, that's part of what, you know, he's that's, I guess, the end result of it is, like, he learns, you know, that, you know, it's not just about helping people. It's about learning to be able to accept help when you need it as well.
Yeah, that's good. My man Clayton's in the house, by the way. Ip Man is the GOAT. Let me tell you something, Clayton. Next time I see you wrestle, I better see you fucking hit somebody 273 times in 20 seconds. That's what I want to see. Yeah, just go wash the rice.
Yeah. That's it.
Fable, what's this movie speaking to you aside from bloody rice?
I think this movie is trying to talk about tradition, not letting go of tradition, more specifically civility and their way of civility. They like you said it before, they have this politeness about them. Even when the bandits come to town, he's polite in the way he does things. You know, he has to fight every master respectfully. Or new guys opening a school wants to fight it, man, but yo, you got to sit down and have breakfast with him first. Or, you know, they're talking about business, and that everything is respect and honor. And even when the policeman comes in and he's like, "Oh, you guys are still fighting? It's all about guns now. It's all about guns." Like, and they're like, you know, like, it's a new time. It's a new era. The war is coming. It's a whole new animal, you know. And even though there's some effed up stuff happening, you can't let go of your humanity, your civilian side. And Ip Man, no matter what, he's never gonna let that go. He's always gonna have his manners. He's always gonna respect people for being people, and that inspires everybody around him. you know, regardless of how much they try to beat it out of him, because he's always looking for peace. They always messing with him. Like, he just sits down and it's like, yo, hey, man, we need help over here. Come on. And he's like, oh, shit. All right, I'm out.
Let me finish my cigarette first, please.
He must have got interrupted about 5 times in this movie. Like, yo, hey, man, come through over here. So, yeah, yeah, I think it's about maintaining, you know, some sort of tradition, your you know, your ways, your integrity, your civility, the way you were raised and stuff, and regardless of the savagery that's happening. So
honor,
yeah.
right? Yeah, for sure, 100% on point right there. I love the politeness of Ip Man in this fucking film, where he's just like, well, like, especially when he's fighting Master Lu in the beginning, and he's like, bro, you're right, you seem a little winded. Let's calm down. Let's stop for a second. Let's just chill for a second, right? I love it, man. What about you, Delaney? What's this movie speaking to you?
Wing Chun is better than karate. I want to learn it. Yeah, I mean, you guys are already nailing it. It's true. It is about tradition. It is about respect. It's about civility. It's about the way you can ask for help. You're right. You can ask for help, and you can give the help out. It's you put out what you put in, and it's always the positivity. If you can keep it positive, good things will happen. It's beautiful karma. Yeah. And Ip Man is exemplary for that. He is that person. I mean, shoot, he trained like Bruce Lee, man. He trained like one of the coolest people ever. And Donnie Yen like exudes that. And this movie does such a great job of just showing how kind he is. He's very human. Yeah, he's a very human person. Like, these are real situations, and he doesn't deal with them in a brash way. He never just comes in when he's angry. You know it, kind of situations, and that's how like a man should act, and how people should act anyway. But how a man knows how to do that, because if we had enough men that were like Ip Man, we'd have a lot better culture. Yeah. And that the fact that can be brought out.
If only we could act that way on social media.
Oh no, it's invisible. We're invisible people there. No, screw that noise. Yeah, but it'll never happen because of social media, because of the walls we put up, and we think we're anonymous. It can't be hurt. It can't be hit 150 times in the face.
I'll tell you what, if we would all be way more respectful.
Way respectful. Hi.
I think we all somebody through your phone.
I think all Americans need to go through an ass whooping again. I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a clean ass whooping, and we'll stop all of this junk, man.
I think we should put a dojo in every public school.
Yeah. Yep.
And when a new teacher shows up, you have to challenge the rest of them.
I challenge everybody.
Teachers are challenging each other all the time.
No kidding. I was like, I want to be the fucking 3rd grade history teacher.
I've lost the respect of my students. I have to flee.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yep.
Jump out the window.
Yeah, right. Y'all all hit the nail on the head on this movie. What I want to do is I want to elaborate on something that I actually watched another YouTuber say today. They were comparing Ip Man to Superman, right? And Two Gun, you're right. No one is above an ass whooping. And if we all learned that a little bit more, like I remember the last time I got my ass beat, it was decades ago, but you know what? I remember it. So I'm not gonna when I see somebody and I'm like, you know what, man, I'm cool with you. You just do you, it's all right. It's all right. I don't want to be punched 394 times within 8 seconds. Anyway, so he was talking about, what does it mean to be a hero? The journey to me, and this illuminated this to me today. And I wish I knew the YouTuber. There's very few YouTube shows about Ip Man right now that are good analysis videos. It's one of those. And they were talking about the entire franchise. But what does it mean to be a hero? Because Ip Man, like Brooks was talking about, he doesn't accept help from other people. Right? Even when he's starving, even when, dude, your kid and your wife need that fucking food. Yeah. Y'all need that money. You need that job. You need a repayment on that investment. right? But he won't do it because he's got this idea, like Superman has, and this YouTuber mentions it from the Paul Dini, Alex Ross Superman book, Peace on Earth. Y'all remember that? The big treasury size fucking, right? Superman tries to solve world hunger, realizes he can't do it. Not through action. That's what Ip Man realizes in this movie. My actions, I can beat this dude's ass. It's not going to change what's happening to my people. Right. It's not going to change what's happening to my country. It's not changing this occupation. I can't end it with my fists. But you know what you know what he does learn? I can inspire my people. I can inspire my country.
A country full of Ip Mans would be unstoppable.
Right?
Unstoppable.
And a country full of Supermen would be unstoppable. And Superman is
maybe Ultramites.
Superman, like Ip Man, is a almost supernatural type being of godly type powers, right? Like Ip Man is a fucking superhero in this movie, right?
As far as
he is.
Yeah.
All he needs is a suit.
It's not the actions. It's not that Superman can punch a hole in any wall. It's not that he can punch out any villain. It's what he inspires in other people.
Right.
That is what's important about Superman. Same thing with Ip Man, right? He learns in this movie, I can't solve this conflict with my fists, but I can stick up for my people and inspire them. That's why he decides to start teaching those people at that textile factory, right? That's what he learns. That's his fucking journey in this film, which I think is brilliant and absolutely fucking amazing. You may be the baddest motherfucker out there, but you ain't going to be able to, with physicality or your fists or even your intellect, be able to solve the world's problems. We got to inspire other people to do right. It's not just about us doing right. It's about us inspiring other people to do right. Get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's what I pull from the film. All right, time to rate the film out of 5 possible you digs. Best score being a 5. What do you out there in the chat give Ip Man, starring Donnie Yen from 2008, Hong Kong cinema? And Brooks, why don't you kick us off?
Well, I give this movie a 5, man. I love this movie. It's a classic. It's great, and it's still, on the second time, like I still love it just as much as I did the first time. Like even through all the bleakness, and like it's got everything. It's got a little drama. It's got some suspense. Like one of the most suspenseful parts of this movie, I think, is when his son is like playing out in the street, and that Japanese guy is like pointing the gun at him, and like man just goes like ape shit on him.
Ape shit.
And like this movie is very, it's got a lot of there's a lot to it, there's a lot you can get from it, and it does have a lot of kick-ass action scenes, but it's not just that, the connective tissue is also good. So yeah, no complaints about this one, man.
Fuck yeah, a perfect score from Brooks and a perfect score from Eli and Two Gun Pedro out there in the chat. What about you, Fable? Are you going to keep the trend going, or you what do you got to say?
Let me put on my what do you call it? Reviewer hat here.
Your critic hat. We're on Letterboxd right now.
That's what I was looking for. No, man. This is a 5 all day, man. 5 all day. This is a modern classic. This is what you call a modern classic. This is so many kung fu movies. If you grew up on them, this is how you do it in the 2000s, man. This is the perfect example of how to bring that forward. Keep that style from the 60s and 70s, but just bring it forward with great cinematography. And man, there was some wire fu, but it wasn't a lot of wire fu actually. It's just great choreography in this one. Really, the wire fu is when guys are getting thrown like 30 feet, from getting punched in the face or something. But besides that, man, it's just great traditional boxing, really good choreography. One of Donnie Yen's best performances, if you're into him. You know what I mean? This is a good one for that. So yeah, 5.
So I would say my favorite Hong Kong cinema film that I've seen so far has been Hero, which I think is fucking brilliant.
Absolutely.
Is Donnie Yen in that film? Is there not a fight between Jet Li and Donnie Yen? And it's the black and white film. It's like bruh, that scene in that movie, holy shit. Holy shit.
I love Hero.
That's good. We're continuing the 5 trend right now. Clayton has thrown out a 5-star rating. So, all right, 5 from Brooks, a 5 from Fable, a 5 from Eli, Two Gun, and Clayton. What about you, Delaney? Where are we going?
Well, I'm going to digress and go back to Missing in Action. I wasn't on that cast because I had a water issue at my house. I do want to say some things about that real quick. Mission Action is absolute trash. I hate it. It is Chuck Norris's worst film. I don't know what he was thinking when he signed on to do 5 films with Canon. He should have known immediately what the hell was going on.
I know what he was thinking, bro. He was thinking $5 million in 1982.
Yeah, he took $5 million in 82. Yeah, that buys a lot of hats.
Hey, one of those movies, goddamn it. One of those movies is Delta Force, so you shut your mouth right now, okay? That's all I'm saying.
I'm just wow. Yeah, I don't mean that. I'm talking about Missing in Action.
Actually, I don't even think Delta Force was one of the canon. I don't even think Delta Force was one of the canon films. So never mind. I'm sorry. You're right.
No, it wasn't canon. It's not canon. It's not canon. I hate how he climbs that wall. I hate like he has to rip that girl's clothes off to pretend he's his alibi.
Don't tell me like you didn't like that scene, Delaney.
I mean, I liked it, but the fact the way he did it was just dumb. And I was like, wow. And I was like, wow, crap.
I love the bit where he takes off his clothes and she's like, I brought you over for a nightcap, not to like have sex with me. And I'm like, bruh, that's what a nightcap is.
Yeah, that's what nightcap is. Don't invite me to your room if we ain't getting it on. It's just one of them things. It's a known thing, but he was like, this is my alibi. I gotta go kill James Holm. Oh man, it's such a trash film. And the only good part about it was Tuck. I love Tuck. He died off camera. It was so stupid. He should have been in all 3 of them movies. He got blown up. He got blown up on his own boat.
Action movie, dude.
Off camera. You absolutely miss it. I had to.
You die off camera in an action movie. You're not really dead.
He died. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, he totally died because he's not in the other 2. It's just.
The second one is a prequel. He could have been in that, but he wasn't.
Yeah, he could have been, but they were like, let's put Tuck in the first movie. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, that movie, to you digs, do not recommend. Hot trash. I did want to get that out to say that Ip Man is a good palate cleanser. I watched this movie. This is, like I said, the second time I've seen it. I watched it during the whole Hero kick. I watched Hero when Hero was in the theater, and it like blew my mind. That was when I was like, that was the Hong Kong cinema. That was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, Crouching Tiger kicked off kind of a little.
Yeah, it started off like Michelle.
Yeah, House of Flying Daggers was.
Yeah, House of Flying Daggers, Hero. All those are great films.
All that stuff.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I still, but Ang Lee's still a hack. But it's just, yeah, he is. He made Hulk and Gemini Man, but this movie,
I'll give you Gemini Man. I'll give you that.
He's a hack. That's what I started calling this bullshit movie.
But he made the Ice Storm, man.
I don't care. Whatever. He's a hack. Absolute hack. You make 2 bad movies for me, you're a hack. That's M. Night Shyamalan too. That piece of shit. Anyway, what was it? Oh yeah, Ip Man, absolutely fantastic. I love this film. It's better the second time. I wish I hadn't watched it in dubbed. I should have watched it without commercials too, but I wanted to watch it for our video. It's not really that I missed anything, but it's so impactful. It is, Robbie, you're right. It is like the Gladiator movie that should have been out. That's what it is, and he exudes that. Donnie Yen is absolutely fantastic as a martial artist and as an actor. He's just a wonderful dude. He's in chapter 4 of John Wick. My God. He blind. He was killing it. He was absolutely killing it. So he plays wonderful characters. And I can't wait to watch the rest of it, man, because I only watched the first one. And I was just like, I was in that Hong Kong kick, and I was like, yeah. And then I was like into Jackie Chan movies too, and I was like, Drunken Master and all this stuff. I was into that junk for like a long time. So I watched most of those movies back, like, this was 2000. 2008, 2009. Actually, even before in that area, I was watching all of these. I was about that life.
Donnie Yen's even really good in that Star Wars movie that sucks that everybody likes.
Rogue One. Is the good
He was the most interesting character in Rogue One.
Yeah, and he also
give him a movie.
Yeah, he also played a blind guy. He played 2 blind guys in recent times, and does great work. And I still don't have that action figure. I need it. I needs it. But yeah, he's awesome.
So
Absolutely.
What's your rating?
I told you I gave it. No, I didn't.
No, I think you did.
Mission in Action is a 2, but Ip Man is a 5.
Okay.
5, baby. 5 all day. Mission in Action is hot garbage. I will never watch it again. There I'm
Continuing the trend, we got a 5 from Lulu. And Brother Joe says, I don't give high scores, but after watching it, I'll give it a 4.99. We don't allow that here on PCP Movie Night.
Yeah, it's a 5. Yeah,
we do allow a 4.969, so like we'll let that one go. You can even do a 4.99969 if you really want to. Clayton says it's almost as good as anything with Steven Seagal. I don't know, man. Under Siege is pretty fucking dope, man.
Executive decision. I'll say executive
Under Siege isn't good because of Steven Seagal, though. It's good because of Tommy Lee Jones.
True.
Under Siege coming next year for ActionFest, y'all. You've already we're doing the double feature. We're gonna do Under Siege 2.
An old girl that comes out of the cave. Yeah.
Under Siege 2 was on a boat, right? The first one's on a train. The second one's on a boat.
Second
one's got that dude. It's not Cuba Gooding Jr., is it, or is it?
No.
He's the dude who's like the wannabe Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not Cuba Gooding.
Well, I don't want to break fucking the tradition.
Cuba doesn't have that kind of range.
No, I don't know. Have you ever seen Chill Factor with Skeet Ulrich? Come on. But anyway,
no,
if you haven't, it's actually a delightful film, but it's not a 5 You Digs movie like Ip Man is. This movie is 5 You Digs for me as well. I absolutely fucking love it. Like Donnie Yen's performance, everybody's performance in this movie, the cast kills it all the way through, including the dude who's the interpreter, who's also the traitor. That moment with him and like Ip Man and him, where he's like slapping him, he's like, "You're a fucking traitor." He's like, "How am I a fucking traitor? You know, I'm just trying to make it myself." Right? That's nuance though. That's some actually good shit right there, right? The style, the structure, it's so quick. The fighting choreography is amazing. The cinematography is amazing. The music is amazing. The themes are right there on point. This is a 5 You Dig movie, 100%. I gotta watch 2 and 3 now. And I know they did a 4th one I heard was not as good, but we'll see what happens. We'll watch it. Maybe we'll do an Ip Man fucking thing.
They're not bad films. It's a good watch. All of them.
So Fable, overall, like what would you say about the franchise then, since you've watched them?
I've only watched till part 3. I know there's a 4th, and I think there's a spin-off movie that just dropped not too long ago, but it's not with Donnie Yen. It's a different thing. But
that's the Awakening or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. If I was to judge the first 3, man, I give the whole franchise like a 4, man. Solid. It's solid.
All right.
Gonna have a good time, yeah.
But they totally do Rocky 4 in part 2, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like the Chinese connection in a way.
And the Mike
Like the
Tyson
Sworn are basically like talking shit about Chinese martial arts, and Ip Man has to challenge him.
Yeah. The Mike Tyson scene reminds me of the Henry Cavill scene in Mission Impossible.
Does he cock his arms?
He got these short little T-Rex arms, Mike Tyson, man, and he's just like, but they're really big and shit. So he's like, woof, woof.
I was hoping that Mike Tyson would come across like Clubber in Rocky 3 is what I'm hoping, man. So
it's awesome, dude.
Show you what a real man is like, Ip Man.
I just love that, like, out of all the action franchises out there, Ip Man's the one who actually got the closest to Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I'm just really excited for that. So 5 You Digs from across the fucking panel and most of the chat, and we'll just go ahead and round up fucking Brother Joe's fucking thing to 5. And yeah, Steven Seagal is the GOAT, right? Like, by the way, if you like martial arts cinema, you just wait till November, because after Horror Fest, which we are already gearing up for Horror Fest, after Horror Fest is Van Damme November, y'all. And we're going to have some fucking fun for Van Damme November. And y'all know it, man. Y'all fucking know it.
All I know is Bloodsport, man. I got to watch that movie again.
We're doing Van Damme November. I'm going to let you guys go ahead and know what we're doing. We're doing Bloodsport again, because we've done that before, but we're doing it again. God damn it, with a 6-person panel. We're doing Kickboxer.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
And we're doing a Van Damme poll. So then you get to choose what the next one is. Is it going to be Time Cop? Is it Double Trouble? Double Team? Whatever the double strike. He did all these double movies, right? Is it The Quest? Is it Lionheart?
Street Fighter?
Knows? Street Fighter. Street Fighter we've done, as well as Bloodsport. But Street Fighter is a fucking brilliant movie that sucks that I love. It's so fucking good, right? Anyway.
Of course.
I need somebody to vote for Time Cop. Come on.
Yeah, Time Cop. You gotta do Time Cop.
Is that the one where he's got the mullet, like the long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome,
Fuck yeah.
dude.
Hey, Universal Soldier might be a part of that fucking poll.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Isn't the guy from Kiss the bad guy in Time Cop? Am I crazy?
No, it's what's his name? Oh,
You talking about Gene Simmons?
Yeah, isn't he the bad guy?
No.
Am I crazy?
It's
no. He's the bad guy in the Tom Selleck.
Oh God, it's Andy Garcia.
Okay.
Is it Andy? Yes, like Andy Garcia.
Is it?
He gets smashed by his younger self at the end. You know, because you can't have two people at the same. You can't have two people in the same time at the same place or some shit, and you smash together and get melted. That was a good. Yeah, we gotta do Time Cop. Y'all, we vote for Time Cop. Damn it. Y'all pick Time Cop. I'm gonna be like, no, I can't do it.
Can I get Time Cop, please? We always do them.
I don't mind the other movies at all.
We always do all the good. Yeah, that's a Time Cop.
Yeah, well, we're doing Bloodsport again though. But yeah, Time Cop. You know, everybody's like, we'll get that poll going when it's time. Anyway, so from the panel, a PCP average of a 5. Perfect movie. If you've never seen Ip Man, go watch it. It's amazing. You can watch it right now on free on Amazon with Freevee, where you're going to get it dubbed with commercials, or you can unlock a 7-day free trial for the Haya channel, I think is what it's called, the Haya channel, right? You can unlock a 7-day free trial, watch it in the original Cantonese, I believe, and with no commercials. So definitely something worth checking out. Ip Man is amazing. What a great movie. Fuck yeah. Next week, we're continuing Action Fest with the most requested movie for Action Fest ever. We're talking about Predator next week, y'all. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Dylan, you son of a bitch.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, Jesse Ventura.
Yeah.
When's Carl Weathers going to get nominated to be a fucking governor of some state, right? Like, that's all we need. We need the entire cast of Predator to be governors.
I'd vote for him Republican or Democrat. I wouldn't care.
That movie has a great soundtrack. Predator.
Yeah.
That jungle soundtrack, that
they have yet to replicate Predator. They keep trying and they keep failing. Predators was almost there and they just did a little too much. Just a little too much. But Predator, you'll never get that back, man. God dang, Schwarzenegger wouldn't even do sequels for that shit.
Yeah.
Because he was like,
I was like testosterone.
Chopper, damn it.
Steroid, bro. That was like just muscle movie.
Making such a tyrannosaur.
I'm so pumped for next year. I'm so pumped for next week, because Predator is a great movie to revisit. It's a great movie to talk about. But we also got John Hammertime Holshoe joining us, the Brianiac Weaver joining us, and Jolly Joe Corallo joining us as well. So we got a full loaded panel to talk about Predator next week here on PCP Movie Night for Action Fest. Brooks, thank you for being here. Any final thoughts?
I just mentioned we did me and Delaney, we do this Go Figure review show thing, and we did a pretty our latest one was kind of ties in with this. We did Fei Long from the new Street Fighter.
Oh man!
Oh, he's so good.
He's
so
awesome. Good. This is such
we
a
also
great
did the Multiple Man from the retro card stuff. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we did.
I hope y'all had at least 30 of those motherfucking figures around.
We had like 6. We got 6.
We just made cardboard cutouts of the rest that we needed.
Yeah. Fei Long, by the way, has the flaming leg.
Nice.
That's
this is
literally.
That looks like a crystal dildo, bro. That's what that looks like.
It comes off. It's soft. You can get it done. It'll get the job done.
Yeah.
So do crystal dildos, man. They get the job done too. You get to harness your energy through those. Speaking of harnessing energy, Fable, thank you so much for being here, man. I know you got a big show coming up with a big guest, right? I know you got some final thoughts.
Yeah. Come check me out this Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Me and Nick and brother Joe. We got a little show, Blame Fable and his amazing friends. We're coming back after a week hiatus, and we're gonna have none other than Rockin, Robbie, Billups on the show. Finally, first time this season. And we're also going to be joined by Chris from Lost in Comics. So I got two titans of our community on the show at the same time. I'm just on a roll here, guys. I'm on a roll. Come check us out on IG.
I'm gonna be on a roll too, Fable. I'm gonna be doing Molly when I'm on the show, just so you know. So
rolling.
I do hope you ask us about the infamous kiss from Heroes Con. I hope me and Chris shared.
I was gonna allude to your photographs from when we got I was gonna allude to that, but we'll get there.
Chris told me he didn't remember the kiss, and I was like, "You fucking liar! Do not fucking act like you don't remember that moment of intimacy between the two of us." Hell yeah, it's gonna be a great show, Fable, man. Thank you so much.
Maybe you just
for
have Superman powers, and your kisses make people forget.
No shit. It's like Superman 2, the Dick Lester cut.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah. All right, Delaney, final thoughts, man. What you got, man? Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And we got Go Figure reviews, man. Please check us out. We did the Fei Long, of course, like Brooks said. We did the Multiple Man. They're all up now. I dropped them both today. So guys, watch them. It's been fun making them. Brooks and I have a good time, I think. Brooks, do you enjoy yourself?
Tell some jokes.
Yeah, we do some
about
things.
Figures.
Yeah, we do some stuff. Yeah.
You know, Delaney, I'm not the dude who's ever trying to tell you what to do on your channel, but the Multiple Man video, you should drop like 30 times on different days.
I just keep dropping it.
Like the video itself is Multiple Man. It's like so meta, right?
It's
like that would work.
Yeah. He can do up to 40 copies in a row from this one. So, and it was like, what was it, Brooks? He punches himself and he can change.
He hits himself to produce it.
Yeah, he has to hit himself to make it do it, but apparently he can do it at will now. So, good times.
Every time he looks at Fei Long's leg, he's gonna be like,
yeah. Let's get her done.
Okay, Delaney, can I borrow that next weekend? Anyway, moving on.
Brooks got one. He's closer to you.
He sure is. Brooks, I'll clean it, man. Don't worry about it. Anyway.
Yeah, Brooks' face is like, ew.
Join us next week for Predator. We also just announced the PCP movie lineup for, the PCP, DHS, and Blood Splatter Chatter lineup for Horror Fest. 32 shows covering over 50 movies across 3 channels, y'all. The biggest Horror Fest yet. If you haven't seen the lineup, go check out the PCP Army, the PCP Patreon, or go check out Rockin' Robbie Live from last night, where we do the big reveal, and I sing a lot, and I got pretty drunk, so it was pretty fun. Anyway, thank you all for joining us on Rockin' Robbie Live on PCP Movie Night. This may be the highest reviewed movie we've ever done for ActionFest. And especially coming off of Missing in Action. But next week's Predator, we'll see what happens. All right, y'all. We're about to dip out. On behalf of everybody here at Pop Culture Philosophers, love each other, accept help, inspire others to affect positive change in the world. And if you really need to show a motherfucker what is up, punch him 394 times in like 5 seconds. You'll get your message across.
Also, it's not about style. It's about you.
It's about you. That's fuck. Say that again.
It's not about style. It's about you.